search of a happy belly. Just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that what we're trying to do here is educate. We're trying to get to some general information, trying to stay away from specific advice to individuals, because I sure don't want to be accused of practicing medicine over the internet in an inappropriate manner. So if you can, just use the information that we're gathering here to serve the general purpose. I hope that what we can provide you with is information you can use to access a happy belly. So what we're going to talk about today is diet. Diet in the sense that food has an impact on how your GI tract works. Being a fuel, it's important to recognize that food serves not only a purpose to fuel the engine, but it also keeps the system cleaned out. And that's particularly one of the things I want to talk to you about today. Of course, fuel is made up of three major components, that being fat, protein, and carbohydrate, in addition to the other trace elements and vitamins, of course, water. All of these components are important in maintaining not only your fuel depot, but also keeping the system clean and fully functional. So let's dig into that a little bit. When you talk about fuel, then what you're talking about is how the body takes things out of nature and converts it into something that it can use to make your heart beat and to make your eyes function properly, your kidneys filter your systems, your liver, building blocks for your body in general. So when you talk about fat, protein, and carbohydrates, in general, what you're talking about are the building blocks that we gain access to from nature. Interestingly, God built these building blocks to supply different amounts of energy. So fat, in general, we refer to as the highest energy source, being about 9 calories per gram of tissue. Protein being about 4 grams, and carbohydrate being about 3.4 to 4 grams as well. And these component parts that you get in your diet are handled at different levels in your GI tract. All of them, of course, start in your hand, enter your mouth, and travel down the esophagus, which really doesn't serve much of a purpose with regards to digestion. And once they land in the stomach, are processed by both the grinding effect of the storage organ, the stomach, that mixes proteolytic proteins along with acid and mucus with certain kinds of specific proteins whose role it is to extract vital micronutrients and vitamins from foodstuffs that enter in the stomach. All of this mixture is then ground up into a paste, and that paste then, in a slow process, leaves the stomach through the pylorus into the small intestine. Before it leaves the stomach, those component parts are broken down and ground up into as small a component as can be achieved prior to being further digested by proteolytic enzymes that are made available by the pancreas, which attaches to the small intestine along with the acidified material that comes out of the stomach. The pancreas supplies an alkaline liquid that then mixes and buffers after certain acidification has taken place. That buffering effect serves to allow certain chemicals that are best absorbed in the small intestine in a more alkaline environment to be better accessed. In addition, the liver allows materials to travel down from the bile duct or the plumbing from the liver into the small intestine, where the compounds that are available in bile make things which are not hydrophilic or water loving more hydrophilic, and then are absorbed more efficiently into the brush border of the small intestine. All of this was developed to maximally and most efficiently allow component parts of these foodstuffs to be broken down, mixed together, and then efficiently absorbed. And of course, the reason that that process has become what it is to allow for maximum access to materials from nature to serve as both fuel and as building blocks to maintain a human body throughout its 75 or 80-year lifespan. Naturally, as time goes by, the ability to digest and absorb these materials becomes somewhat disturbed or less efficient. And that's where we come in with these modification programs that we talk about when we talk about dietary measures. When you have the inability to absorb or even to process certain parts of the fuel spectrum, then your body suffers because it develops deficits of those particular materials, and then manifests itself in disease states. And so we'll get into that later when we talk about the more specific illnesses that we can talk about. Generally, when you're talking about the stomach, though, its purpose as a muscular organ is to receive material. It has the capacitance to dilate. Therefore, when food enters into the stomach, there's a reflexive nature that the muscles and the nerves have to allow the stomach to expand, and materials then can accumulate, temporarily be stored, so that during the feeding period, you don't become prey. And this probably became important when humans were sort of treated like prey. Dinosaurs chased us, other animals in nature that could take us down, and actually we serve as fuel. Nature doesn't know the difference between us and coconuts. So we have to understand that at one time we were probably on that food pyramid for a lot of predators. So when the stomach serves as a receptacle, it expands so that we can gain as much access to fuel as quickly and as efficiently as we possibly can. Well, nowadays, in the environment in which we find ourselves, where we're no longer prey and not sought as a foodstuff, that ability to store and utilize fuel has become much more of a process that has led to our overdoing it. We get so much fuel and it's so efficiently broken down and absorbed due to processing that our body's natural ability to store materials has really become overwhelmed. So our circumstances that surround how we fuel ourselves has really sort of become overly perfected. Well, the ability to put food in your stomach, since really all you have to do is hop in the car and drive down to the corner to get something to eat, has overdone itself and put us in a place where food has become almost too prevalent and too efficient. And when you do that, the over storage then creates an overstuffing that anatomically is to our deficit. So just as if you overstuff a pickup truck, you have a tendency to spill things out and or damage the truck that you're utilizing. So too your intestinal tract has become that hyper efficient organ. So gaining weight really doesn't have much of a counter weight, if you will. We're going to talk about the anatomical considerations more on the next feed. I will get to some of the additional important pieces of information that nutrients and dietary issues have to play in the next entry. For now, we're going to get into some of the bariatric kind of considerations and hopefully address some of the specific anatomical features that I've been requested to talk about, i.e. the gallbladder, the pancreas, the liver, etc. We'll do that in the upcoming episodes. Just wanted to be sure that you understand that we want you to like and follow us if you're enjoying these stories on Facebook. Subscribe and ring the bell for notifications on YouTube, and look for GastroPrimo when you're in search for this particular channel. And we're going to keep it going with information, both general and specific, and we'll discuss the questions that you pose. But again, look for GastroPrimo in search of a happy belly. I look forward to seeing you again as we continue the saga.